Lightroom members, and welcome to our garden. Last month in the lowdown series on exposure we talked about long exposures and using the little and big stopper filters which have inherent color casts. What I'm going to do this morning is run through the process of evaluating just what those color casts are and what we can do to correct them. So what I have here, I think you'll see behind me, is a fairly neutral picture. Found some nice colour in the picture. Some early morning or mid-morning sunshine coming through on the scene here, and I've set up a reflector, which is a white tone in my picture, which I can use to evaluate the colour cast of the shots with and without the filters. Okay, good. That's the first one. Now I'm going to fix my little stopper filter. I want to do this as quickly as possible because I don't want the light to change at all in between me making the picture with and without. There we go. Okay, so I'm now just going to check that I've got those two pictures there. There's the one without the filter and there's the one with. And even on the screen here I can see there's a notable color cast difference. The one with the little stopper filter is much cooler. So now what I want to do is test the big stopper. And to do that I'm going to raise the ISO because the thing is, with the little stopper filter, the big stopper filter, the exposure is going to be quite long, and I don't want the light to be changing as I'm making it. So I'm going to raise the ISO up to 800 so I get a manageable length to my exposure. The other thing I'm going to do is go to manual exposure mode, because as we know, once the big stopper filter is put in place, the camera's metering system goes AWOL. 6/40th of a second at f5.6 without the filter in use. So I'm quickly going to do that. Now I'm going to fit the filter. With the big stopper filter you always need to be really careful that you're making sure there's no light leakage coming in round the back of the filter here. Now, using the table that I've been supplied here by Lee Filters, 1/500th of a second gives me an exposure with the filter set of 2 seconds. So, well, I've got 6/40th here, so I'm going to try a 2-second exposure and see how that looks. Now I'm going to take the filter off, go to AV mode, exposure mode, take the filter off, and now do another shot here without the filter in use. So I think we've got the pictures we need now to be able to judge the color shift with and without the filter. So I'm now going to go into the digital darkroom and we'll take it from there. So I've now transferred the images to my computer and I've imported them into Lightroom. And I've got the two images shot with and without the little stopper filter here on the screen. So if I go in Lightroom, if I press N, I get the two up next to each other, and I can immediately see here that I've got this significant color cast. The shot on the left shot with the filter, and the one on the right shot without. So what I'm going to do now is take the go back into library mode and select just the image that was shot without the filter and go into the develop module. Now what's important that I should have stressed when I was shooting the picture was that I made both these shots with the white balance setting in camera set at daylight, so that the color shift of the filter is apparent and that the camera's own white balance system is not trying to correct the color cast of the filter. So I've got this picture here shot without a filter, and I want to make sure that it is totally neutral. So what I'm going to do here is pick this white balance selector. You can see it top right here, and I'm going to click on that and move it over to the white part of where the reflector is, and click on there, and that has now corrected the shot without the filter. And I'm just going to note down the color values up here, which are 6350 Kelvin and -8 tint. So now I'm going to do exactly the same to the shot using the little stopper filter, the one with the color cast. So I select that, still in the develop module here, and I do exactly the same thing. I come up to the color tab and I select the white balance selector, and I just move that over to the same spot on the white reflector that I used for the previous shot, and click on that. And now I look up here and I have 8500 color temperature and a tint of -4. So now if I look at those values, 8700 for the white balance, for that's the shot without with the little stopper filter, 6350, that's without, the difference being 2000 plus 2350 Kelvin. And in terms of tint, -3 with the filter, -8 without. So what we're looking at is a color correction for the use of the little stopper filter of plus 2350 Kelvin and +5 tint. So now I do exactly the same for the shot exposed with the big stopper filter. It's got a very blue color cast. I can see that on the screen. I use my white balance selector, drag it over to the area of the white reflector, and look at the values here now. 13,000 color shift on the white balance selector now, giving a huge difference of 6500 Kelvin. If I look at the figures, I have now shots with the big stopper plus 6500 Kelvin and +2 tint, and with the little stopper plus 2350 Kelvin and +5 tint. Those are the corrections I need to apply to every shot that I've done with those two filters to totally neutralize their color casts. Really useful test to do, and be aware of the fact that the values that I have determined here for my filters may not apply to yours. Particularly with the big stopper filter, it's worth remembering that every filter is different with a different color shift. So good luck, keep exposing, and we'll see you next month.